I'm Elaine and welcome to my kitchen. Well, today we're going to make some jambalaya. I had some chicken and I had some shrimp and I had some sausage in my freezer, and I thought that would be a great thing to make because we do enjoy jambalaya. So what I have in this bag, this is one large boneless, skinless chicken breast that I have cut up into pieces, and I have taken 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. And I have just kind of squeezed this together and kept shaking it and squeezing it together until I get these evenly coated with the Cajun seasoning. Now you could also use Creole seasoning if you like. I just happen to have Cajun seasoning on hand, so that's what I'm using. Okay, and so now that I have that done, we're going to let this sit for about 30 minutes. And after this is set, I will be back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I am back and I have moved y'all over to my stove, and I'm going to turn this down so you can see. Whoops, there we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, and I am just cutting up some smoked sausage. This is a full 12-ounce package. Now, you could use andouille sausage if you like this a little bit on the spicier side. Now, my husband and I prefer it more mild, so I use the smoked sausage instead of the andouille, but you could certainly use andouille if you wanted to. Oopsie. Okay. I'll just cut this last little bit up. Might be easier if I switch over my scissors. This is a different pair of scissors than the ones I used on the chicken. The ones I used on the chicken are in the warm soapy water, and I'm going to transfer them over to my dishwasher. Because I don't like to contaminate things with the chicken, so we're not with any kind of raw meat. I try really hard not to contaminate. Okay, so we are going to brown this sausage up really good. It's already beginning to brown. It's a good thing. And I'm doing this in about a tablespoon and a half or so of canola oil. That's what I'm using to brown this in. All right. Okay, so when this gets brown, I will be back with you and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, my smoked sausage got browned, and so I just took it and put it on a separate plate, and we're going to set that aside. And now we're going to cook that chicken that I had put in the Ziploc bag with the Cajun seasoning. And we're going to go ahead and get that cooked and browned. And so that is the next thing that we do. And when that gets cooked and brown, I'm also going to set it aside as well. And then we're going to do the rest of the vegetables and the seasonings. And I will be back with you when I'm ready to do that. So let me go ahead and get this chicken browned, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, the chicken is cooked and browned, and there's what it looks like. And we're just going to set that aside because at this time we're going to cook our vegetables. So I am going to add in, and this is into about another tablespoon of canola oil. I washed my pan and I added some more fresh canola oil to it before I do this job. Okay, and this is 1 whole onion, medium onion that's been chopped. It also calls for 2 ribs of celery, but I didn't have that, so I won't be adding that today. But typically you would want to add the celery. My husband's not real fond of celery, so I don't typically keep that around. Okay, so we're just going to start these onions going. And we're going to do this for, just let these start to get a little translucent, and then we're going to add our green peppers. He doesn't care much for green pepper either, but he's kind of resigned himself to the fact that there's some dishes, particularly any Cajun type of dish, that's going to have green peppers in it. So, and he does like jambalaya, so he'll be enjoying that later on for supper tonight. All right, there is the onion, and I'm going to add the pepper. It said one small pepper or one green pepper that had been chopped. See, I think it was a small one, chopped and seeded. Well, I usually buy these frozen ones because, again, that's something that I don't readily keep around. So, and that is about what I had left in the bag. So we're going to go ahead and cook this up. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. Okay. And we're just going to let these cook until they get soft and kind of fragrant, which is already beginning to happen. This is really smelling good. Alright, and I would say we are there. It looks pretty close. So, alright. So now we're going to add our spices. Okay, so we are going to add 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to turn my heat down before I do that. Alright, there's 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, but I don't have dried oregano, so I do have ground. I thought I had some dried up there, but apparently I didn't. So I'm just going to add the ground instead. Okay, and there's that. Okay, and we're going to add 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, and I do have that. Okay, there's the thyme. Oh, hold on just for a minute. Move that from the heat and I'll be right back with you. Okay, sorry about that. Phone always rings at the worst possible time. But okay, and then to this, the spices that we've already added, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm just going to add maybe a pinch because, again, my husband and I don't like this very hot, but it actually calls for 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper and of red pepper, crushed red pepper. Well, I'm not going to use the cayenne pepper because, again, a little hot for our taste, but you could certainly put those in. And I will be listing these ingredients below so that you can add this, and you can modify the spices in it to your taste, if you like it really hot and spicy, or if you like it a little on the milder side the way we do. Okay, so I have that added, and I'm going to cook this just for about a minute while I'm stirring this constantly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to add 3 cups of chicken broth. And this is 1 1/4 cups of just plain white rice. And I'll put that in as well. And then to that, we're going to add 1 can of, it said crushed tomatoes. These are petite diced tomatoes, and they'll work just as well. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. And also, it calls for 2 teaspoons of Louisiana style hot sauce. I'm only going to add, again, 1 teaspoon. I'm going to cut that in half. Let me go over here and get my hot sauce. Okay, and I am going to add 1 teaspoon to it because I think for our taste, there should be plenty of heat in this as it is. So. Okay, whoops, you know what? I didn't have that camera close enough. I'm sorry. You couldn't see that real well, could you? But anyway, I have this started. And what we are going to do is I'm going to bring this, I'm going to turn this back up on high, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. And then when it comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to simmer it for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the rice is tender. And then I will be back at that point to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, my rice has been simmering now for about 25 minutes and it looks pretty good. So at this point, we're going to put back in our sausage. We're going to add in our chicken. And we're also going to add in a 12-ounce package of shrimp. This shrimp has been deveined and there's no tail. So we're going to put this in, and I'm going to put just a little more water in that because I think it's a little bit dry. There, we'll add just a little more water into that, and because we're going to have to keep simmering it now for a little bit. I'm going to put a cover on it, and we're going to simmer it a little more until that shrimp is done. So there's the cover, and I'll be back with you shortly when this is completed. Okay, our jambalaya is done, and there is what it looks like on the plate. I'm going to turn you down a little bit so you can see a little better. There you go. And there's what it looks like on the plate. This is my husband's plate. And he's got a good sized helping of jambalaya, and I also made some fresh collard greens. I'd have a video on those too, and I can go ahead and link that video in the description if you'd like to see how I make my fresh collard greens. But there they are. There is our jambalaya, and we are going to eat, and I do thank you for watching and hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And if you enjoy my videos and find them helpful, please like and subscribe. Okay, so again, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.